Hello there again. I'm just about to get Woody out now. Gonna get his weight down. He is slightly down than what he was on the last video if you saw it. Not much, but I've reduced his food a little bit. I'm gonna go in there, pick him up, weigh him and pop him on his perch. I'll probably just cope his beak a little bit whilst I've got him hooded. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll just play it by ear really and see how he is. So I've got my little book out and it's got all this history in there, and I know what he was like at the beginning of end of last molt, so I can see the weights there, but I'm just going to note it all down for my own self. Always keep a record of his response, the weather, and the weight, and what I feed him. Yeah. I'm just going to let him have a little look round before I take him any further. I could hood him. I'm going to hood him in a minute to weigh him, because I don't think he'll sit on the scales. But I'm just taking him slowly. Let him have a look round. He can see there's no threats. But he has not been out here for a little while, so it's all a bit new. And he's just going to acclimatise his vision to the surroundings. Good lad, Woody. So the dog hasn't seen him out the mews for a while, but the hawk is reacting quite well to the dog. He's not freaking out, so that's quite good. Didn't expect him to be that calm, but you can see he's looking everywhere. He's trying to work it all out. So he was panting a little bit just then, and that was because I put him on the scales, and it was all a little bit strange for him. But as you can see, he's okay. He's eating on my glove. From being in that mews, getting him out doing this, I'm very pleased. You can see he gets on my fist alright. So they're different when they're out of the mews than in the mews for sure. But what I'm going to do now is just quickly put some grease on these anklets. Traditional Falconry furniture leather grease. You alright, Woody? So that's stage one. Woody's out the mews. Weighed him up. So he's just dropped a little bit of fat. Still got a bit to go. So I've just put a note in my little book for next season that he didn't like being hooded and weighed. But I took the hood off him and then he got on his scales okay. He was just a bit reluctant to step back. But say his beak is a little bit shorter now. Just needs a point on it, a little bit of coping, but I'll do that in a couple of days. I just really want him to settle out now and get used to being in the garden again. In an hour's time, he'll be okay. Look, he's just had a little rouse. There's a lot going on out here, a lot of stimuli for the eyes, for a hawk's eye. That one looks okay. And that was okay. You want to come out, mate? I just want him to go into his mews and then I'll shut the little hatch down, go in and pick him up. Hello, Woody. Step. Good boy. So that you see the difference there from yesterday. He did step on. I do think Woody's quite a settled hawk, and you just got to be a little bit sort of bold and just do what you're going to do rather than faff about. Just get hold of them and pick them up. I think they can see your mistakes, and it looks like you're faffing there, faff about as well. So I'm going to go out a little bit gingerly again, just until Woody works out there's no threat here, but this is all a little bit visual and it's stimulating all his anxieties and fears and survival instincts. So I'm just letting him get acclimatised. So our exercise today, because he got on my fist so well, I'm going to see if I can take him out of the garden, and then I'm going to pop a hood on and feed him, because I want him to get used to the hood again and see the hood has a nice reward at the end of it. So day two, Woody's had a little touch off of his beak. I greased his jesses up with Jessie grease and it's soaked into there lovely. So in some ways I don't even have to really change them anklets, and I have run out of the leather I use, which is kangaroo hide, and this ring I've got a little cable tie there, which just use that to hold it up whilst I get ready, and if he does bait it still comes down, but it's quite handy just to leave it there like that. From now on it'll be mews, pick bird up, weigh, hunt, or pick bird up, weigh, perch, then hunt. And I'll just keep that routine going because they love routine. If you start changing your routine, it becomes a little bit more difficult. I'm taking it easy because this is only day two, but Woody does know this place, but I can see by his looking around he's not totally comfortable. I just want him to step back on there. He may not. On. So it's just be positive. But I was ready for something going wrong, and it did. He'd baited, and no hassle. Right, so that's the weighing done. So it's not until I've weighed him I know what I'm going to feed him. So I know what I fed him yesterday, and I can see we've had a little reduction in body fat. And what I'm going to do now is take him out with my dogs, have a little walk round on the fist, hood him, feed him, bring him back. Then I'm going to give him a little bit more, but I'm going to get him to hop from his perch to my fist. Step. So I'm sure walking out now, Woody's probably going to bait, but I'm looking at him, I can see he's looking around, he's not panting. He does trust me, but the visual going on now is quite a lot. So just taking it easy. See that? Alright mate, it's settled down in a minute. Dog's waiting there like a good boy. Right, so when you walk up through a wood, he sees it as lots of perches, and this will be where he might bait. But I'm very pleased with this progress, considering they only got him out the mews yesterday. And like I always say, they're all going to be so different. This is a male, and their temperament is probably slightly calmer than a female. Now, when I first got Woody, he was totally different. We wouldn't be doing this now. He'd be baiting like mad if we come up through here. Still remembering a little bit about hunting, because we're climbing through all this stuff all the time. So he's pretty good. So he's moved down my glove. I'm gonna get him back up on my thumb, so just make him go uphill, and he'll resettle, and then I readjust my fist so he's gripping on my thumb area. But you can just move him around like that just by moving your hand. So we just passed 3 little dogs, and Woody was protesting, so he's moved now from his perching area. So I'll just readjust him like that, get him back where he wants to be. But he was having a little scream at the dogs. Now if I'd have known they were there, I could have popped his hood on and we wouldn't have had no drama. It wasn't too much of a drama, but the hood is good for lots of different things. If you need to coat the beak, put telemetry on, clean feet, change anklets, many things. You never know when you might need to hood your hawk. Heel. So he's walking just where we want him. He's keeping his shoulders just behind me, and I can concentrate on the hawk. Now there's a dog coming, so I'll pop his hood on now. This will be a good exercise. So I can see the dog walker is on a lead. So I'm going to put Bo on a lead. Good boy, heel. Heel. Sit. Sit. And what we're going to do now, stay, sit. Sit down. I'm going to reward the hawk now because he's been hooded. You see he's not eating that, so not totally happy. Not totally relaxed, as I should say. Okay, so we're on day 3. Let's go and get Woody out. Hello, Woody. Step. Good lad. So we've put a little bit of weight on since yesterday. But I'm going to get him on a creance. Just a short one. Just for my indication to see how he is. But usually what they can do is come over to you on the creance, and then just before they get to you, then they basically go over your shoulder. So I'm only going to do a short creance just to get him coming to my fist for a bit of food. Just going to have a little rouse. Good lad, Woody. So on day 3 now, I've weighed Woody. I know he's put a little bit of weight on. I know what I fed him yesterday. I now know what feed is going to do what to his weight, because that all depends on the weather and temperature. I've got a rough idea what it will do, but I now know what to give him to just bring his weight down a touch. So tomorrow he'll be a bit lighter than he is today, fat wise, but I think I'll still get him on a creance just to see what he looks like in reality, because feeding him like this and what he's doing now is one thing, but once he's got to go a couple of metres, he might be a bit more hesitant, or he might just go over my shoulder. You can see now how much work I've got to do. He's just looking at that line, you can see it's something new. There's a good lad. So I'll let him eat that bit because he's done a bit of a jump. You get a bit more confidence this time. Really, there's no point in doing this. I'm just doing it to show what a hawk's like when he's not ready. There's a typical hawk that's still got too much fat on him at the moment. But we'll see him change over the next few days. But normally, if I wasn't filming, I'd just stop now, because he's not doing what he should be doing, and then start again tomorrow when his weight's a little lower. He is getting familiar with the creance, which is a little, I know he's a little nervous of, because he keeps seeing that white line, and it's new. Come on. I'll give him the rest of his bit of feed. He's not even bothered about that bit of food, so that's what he's like. He's just throwing it on the floor now. Okay, Woody, day 4, coming out. Step. Step. Good lad. Moving a little quicker now, day 4. Starting to get a bit of a routine going.